Hi, Bio One. This is Miss Foltz. Today we're going to be talking about macromolecules. So, this is a really big kind of introduction. We're almost to cells, but these are the molecules that kind of make up everything inside our body. So, our bodies are obviously a large part water, but what is all the other stuff? And a lot of it comes down to macromolecules. And there's four different types of macromolecules. Those are carbohydrates, lipids, nucleic acids, and proteins. We're going to take just a little bit of time to explain each one of those. And so for each one, we want to know a few things. What atoms make it up? Okay, what parts make it up? What does it look like and what does it do? So for carbohydrates, we're looking at um, the main source of energy. So when we eat these, our body turns them into energy. It's made up of three main atoms: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And these kind of arrange themselves into little simple sugars, which look kind of like little ring structures. If I want to eat carbohydrates, what am I going to go after? I'm going to go after breads, sugar, pasta, fruits. All of these things contain carbohydrates, but all of them, when we eat them, our body turns them into energy. Our body also has to have a way of storing energy, and we do that with lipids. The lipids are there for energy storage. So if we eat too many carbohydrates, our body's going to transform those into lipids and store them as fats. When you think lipids, I want you to think of fats, oils, waxes. You'll look at the bottom of the notes here, and you'll see that it lists those as examples. Lipids are primarily composed of carbon and hydrogen. They do have some oxygen, but it's in a small amount. So mostly carbon and hydrogen, and they have these kind of long chains of fatty acids as opposed to the ring structures of carbohydrates. Okay. The third group here are nucleic acids. And nucleic acids are really important because they uh, form up DNA and RNA. And this is how we pass on our genes, from everything from hair color to eye color to how tall you are to whether or not your earlobes are attached, all comes down to nucleic acids. And quite simply, nucleic acids have the instructions for making proteins. They're made up of three main parts: a sugar, a phosphate, and a nitrogen base. So it has the carbon, the hydrogen, and the oxygen that you have inside of carbohydrates, but it also has a nitrogen group, which is unique to them. The last group here we have are proteins, and proteins are really important because they do tons of stuff inside the body and inside the cell. They transport substances, they act as hormones, they act as communicators between cells, they help with reaction rates, enzymes. We'll talk a lot about that in the next video. And they help make us strong in terms of muscles, bones, and fighting diseases. So they're really important. They have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, but they also have nitrogen in them. So nitrogen is kind of unique to proteins, and they're found all over. They're made of these little things called amino acids, and there's 20 different types of amino acids, and depending on how those amino acids are arranged, they make different types of proteins. And we'll spend a lot of time on proteins because out of all the groups, this one is probably the most diverse and the most interesting. Okay, go ahead and look through your notes, write them down, and make sure you feel good about these because we're going to be making a poster about these using Adobe Spike. Adobe Spark. Sorry. All right. If you have any questions, make sure you're emailing me or hitting me during my office hours.